Charlie, baseball sure is something. Go.
Sure is something. No, last night was a fantastic moment. And when the Cardinals signed Albert, you knew you were going to get a handful of moments like that. Hopefully many more. Hopefully 20 more maybe. Who knows? And the fact that they go back-to-back, but he hits that home run. Busch Stadium goes crazy. Danny Mac has the perfect call. Of course, you have the curtain call. And then he goes up, top step, looks at the fans, and he hugs himself, basically saying, I'm hugging you, you're hugging me. This is how it's supposed to be. 10 years, and then you snap your fingers, and time heals all wounds. Are people mad about how 10 years ago he took $240 million? No, because he just put goosebumps on your arms last night.
There it is. People in St. Louis, the fans, man, if you respect this town and you bust your ass for these people, they will love you forever. And you're good to them. Even if you have a horrible outing and you leave and you screw everything, whatever, and you leave and you come back, they will give you a standing ovation. Look what Vladdy did.
Yeah. And you don't even have to be a big dog like Vladdy or Albert. I mean, Skip Schumacher came back and got a big hand.
He's kind of a big dog, though.
Well, but he's not a 3-time MVP.
I'll give you an example. How about the dude from Phillies? I got it down right here. The dude from the Phillies.
Lenny Dykstra.
Alec Baum.
Alec Baum. Alec Baum gets rocked the other day. He's not even a big dog, is he?
He's not.
Okay, so he's not
Trying to be.
He's trying to be, but he's not there yet. And the Philly fans are like, we don't mess around here. We're hardcore. And he gets three innings in a row. He has an error, and he's like, I hate this effing place. Then he owns up to it. Then he goes back up the next night, up to bat, and they give him a standing ovation. I loved it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to own it and be like, I messed up.
Well, you got to be the guy for your town, too. And I think that if you show some toughness in Philly, I mean, you're the man.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's no way around that.
Imagine he's like this. Imagine he's like, I didn't say that. What are you talking about? No, I love it here. No, he's like, no, I did.
The Albert thing this year, obviously, to the point, that you made, Charlie. I think it's great. I think it's awesome to see. I think on opening day when they had him come out and Yachty come out and Waino go and stand with the Hall of Famers and all of that. Nice foreshadowing. Good way to see it. The thing that I hope doesn't happen is that, the team gets into a rut, and it starts to be looked at like it's a dog and pony show. Where you're bringing Albert out to keep morale up and things like that, but the team's struggling or whatever. And, it's a long season. That's going to happen. It feels like there's two different things going on with the team right now, where you've got what Arenado's doing, what Goldie are doing, what all those boys are doing, but then you've also got Albert on the side of it as another thing. It's a unique kind of mix, because it's not like when Willie McGee came back in the late 90s, and it was like, oh, we're not any good anyway. It's great to have Willie here. This team's trying to win, but it's also got a nostalgia tour going on at the same time. I can't say I've seen anything like this.
And that's where I loved last night for so many reasons. So the first thing you think of is nostalgia, because you can't not, because we're human beings. We have emotions. But guess what? He helped you win the game last night. He went 3 for 4. He had a couple runs. He hit the home run. You probably don't win that game without what Albert did at the plate. And oh, by the way, that's why you signed him specifically for last night, because he still kills lefties, not just hits lefties, he kills lefties. So the nostalgia is fun, but nostalgia ain't going to be too great if the Cardinals win 81 games.
There you go.
It needs to be nostalgia plus the playoffs. And I was watching MLB Network this morning, and after the Cardinals highlights, they showed the graphic that since 2021, Albert was on the top page of 5 or 6 dudes with the best slugging percentage versus lefties. I believe it was 624. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's right around there. So since last year, he's still slugging 624 against lefties. That's why you brought him in, because he's still a legitimate weapon.
A 939 OPS for Pujols last year against lefties, which is, that's what he used to do against everybody, 11 years ago. But absolutely one of the best left-handed specialists, if you will, at the plate in the game right now. And you need that, because Corey Dickerson is a guy who's a platoon guy anyway, so he's not going to hit against lefties at all. It's a pretty good situation. Now, I do hope to see what's going to happen as you get deeper into the season. You get some of the younger guys who are going to get cracks as well. You're going to have to balance that time out, I think. But you know why? You got it. He's got 20 more home runs, 19 more or 20 more home runs to get to 700 right now. I mean, that's a big deal, and he's still contributing, so keep him out there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I like it. He's not running great. But who looked good last night, too, and has been looking great, is Nolan Arenado. Not to mention he's growing his hair out. He looks great.
I think that's probably the most important.
Well, you
part
got
of
that
it.
flow cruising around. It pumps you up a little bit. I saw a clip of him though, from back when he played for the Rockies, going after a pitcher. Did you see that? Remember
Throwing
that?
the haymaker on
Yeah.
the run.
He tried to get him.
For sure.
He was trying to throw heat. Usually they come in like, "What do I do now?" No, he was. I haven't seen him that much, but you see him. He's just kind of cool, calm, collect a little bit. He loused it.
That was good stuff.
was
Nolan
good
Arenado, he had a good year last year, and still he wanted more. If you look at his numbers last year, I think he was 30 and 100.
34, 100.
Right. So this year, though, it's very early, but, I mean, he's slugging 1,200. He's hitting the ball out of the ballpark, 1 million doubles. Nolan Arenado is one of the best all-around players in baseball. He's a gamer. He's a ball player. He's a terrific defensive third baseman, and I never worried about him not being able to hit when he leaves Coors Field. Of course, everybody's numbers, your numbers are going to come down a little bit when you leave Coors Field, right? And
Sure.
now he's second year in a new spot. He's used to the surroundings, the ballpark, his teammates. He's a stud, man. I mean, if Nolan Arenado won the MVP, that would not surprise me. I'm not saying he's going to, but he's such a good all-around player that if he plays 150, 155 games, his WAR is going to be so high because he brings so much to the table as a defender at third base, plus the fact that he's just knocking doubles and homers all over the place. I mean, he's one of the best players in baseball.
He's on pace right now for, bear with me, hold on to your seats, 122 home runs and 365 RBIs.
That's doable.
Through 4 games. So let's keep it rocking. But to your point, Charlie, here's the thing I think about Nolan is that, yeah, last year had the season he had, and I think that there was some quibbles about him, about consistency. You know, he went through some valleys there as well. But when you kind of back into a 34-homer season with the Gold Glove, that says a lot about who he is on an everyday basis. I mean, I think that this year, great point. I think that getting used to it, getting settled, not having, you know, I can guarantee you last year was kind of rocky with the move and COVID still being in play and everything. If this guy's 31, just really hitting his real, you know, traditional prime, I think that, well, kind of into it now, but I think that, yeah, an MVP wouldn't be a reach for him.
I got a question. Well, go ahead. Finish your thought, but I got a question for you and you.
So I had one more positive before. We can't keep it all
I know exactly.
rainbows and puppy dogs.
Not
So
on this show.
Jordan Hicks, you love to see it. 2 innings. He'll get his start now on Saturday. Maybe go 3 innings. That is great to see. He's going to be in your rotation. On the other side of that, and no, I'm not jumping to conclusions, but this was an issue before the season with the starting rotation. It's one outing. It's one outing for all these guys. So Miles Michaelis, Steven Matz,
Yep.
Dakota Hudson, all coming back from various, whether it's injuries, Steven Matz, new team. I'm not trying to make too much of one outing. But you're also not playing great teams. Pirates are horrible.
I think they're good.
Royals, okay, they're trying a little bit. Royals aren't very good. I think if you're watching the first 4 games, Waino's going to do what Waino does. But there was a lot of question marks after that. And so entering the season where the number one concern was starting pitching, I think through a very small sample size, 4 games, you're not feeling great about that. You're not feeling great about what you're seeing.
Not at all.
I agree with that, too, because, I mean, when you look at Steven Matz, who got off to that big start, but then the blister situation kicked in for him, what it does is just go back to something we talked about a couple weeks ago. It just heightens the importance for Jack Flaherty to get sorted out with whatever he's got going on, because the Jordan Hicks thing feels like an experiment to me. You know, I know it's easier. In my opinion, it's easier to rehab a guy and to get him where you need him to get as a starter than the infrequent things that can happen as a reliever. But, I mean, you know, are we looking at him to pitch, you know, 5-6 innings? Probably not. He would be an opener. He'd be a 3-inning, maybe 4-inning guy. And honestly, I haven't been in love with what I've seen from the bullpen either. So, I mean, if you go into that, it just heightens why you need to have a dog like Jack Flaherty, and you got to have somebody out there that's going to take that pressure off. You know, the old thinking is, you know, you get an ace every 5th day. You know what you got. But if you can get Wainwright being consistent, being who he is, staying what he's been over the last year, and you can get Flaherty back, who can literally go out and be one of the best pitchers in baseball any day, that makes this a lot more tenable. But I agree, it's a big issue looking at that down the road
when you head up to Milwaukee. But that's a series I think a lot of people are really excited about. You got to beat up on the bad teams.
Yeah,
so,
man.
hey, you got to take care of business. You got to have a little mini sweep against the Royals. But if you play the Brewers and some of their studs and you don't have Wainwright, those are the real tests.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be the test for most of the season. You'd think the Cardinals and Brewers are going to be at the top of the division. Maybe the Cubs are a little bit better than we thought, but it's still probably too early to make that
They're scrappy.
declaration.
Let me ask you this. Besides the pitching, which is a big deal, don't get me wrong. You look at this lineup, and Arenado, Goldie, you got the outfield. Like, are they loaded? I mean, how are they? Take the pitching out of it right now because there's injuries and stuff like that. But everybody else, the lineup, the outfield, third base, whatever. Like, aren't they? How do you compare that to the big teams? Like, aren't they kind of an all-star team? Is there a hole anywhere in that lineup?
So I would say that the main holes, if you want to call it that the Cardinals have got right now is just still guys that are working into their potential. So, you still need for Dylan Carlson to, continue to be the player that you think he's going to be. You need Paul DeYoung to, make the contact you need him to make, continue to do the things that are there. You need for Bader to prove that he's going to be consistent. But when you look at Tyler O'Neill, who has shown that he is the guy that he showed he was going to be last year and year before. Obviously, you don't need to discuss Goldschmidt and Arenado. They are what they are. Yeah, I think the Cardinals have one of the best top-to-bottom lineups in the game.
That's what I mean. How do you compare them to the Dodgers?
Well, you don't, because the Dodgers are what you would consider to be an all-star lineup. They've got a couple of guys making $25-30 million in their lineup. Cardinals do too, but it's just a completely different type of lineup. But I think the Cardinals are really well built for what this team needs. It's to back up its pitchers and to use speed and then have a couple boys that can clear the bases as they need to.
Steve Fletcher chimes in and goes, I can't believe we're calling pitchers openers, which means they'll pitch 3 to 4 innings a game. Times have changed.
Well, I talked to my dad about this yesterday, and I absolutely.
Someone said, "What's up?"
Yeah, he just heard you. He'll text me in a second and tell it to you too. But he absolutely is against this. Without a doubt. Now, my father started watching baseball in the early 60s, so the idea of a guy pitching 3 innings isn't going to work for him.
What's he say about it? He's like,
no, he's a closer. If you're pitching less innings than that, you're a closer.
Yeah.
But, there's something to it.
Old school.
It puts stress on your bullpen, and I hope that the Cardinals' bullpen is set up to be able to deal with that every 5th day because we haven't done that here before. What does it mean?
855-282-8255. Text and call in. You know what we do. I'll read anything. Just don't misspell the words and screw me up when you're driving and stuff. 314 chimes and goes, Bader's more focused on his hair than being focused at the plate.
Come on.
What did you do last night? You make any plays or anything?
Yeah.
Over.
Oh. How does hair look, though? Good?
Well, that's a 4 for 4 every night. I know. There's something that we can talk about. I think that the Cardinals are one of the best hair teams in baseball.
They got some good stuff.
Without a doubt.
Well,
if you take Goldschmidt out the mix.
Goldie, Yachty. Yachty's got cool hair. Never mind. No,
yeah,
Goldie,
right.
Pujols. Yeah.
No, but Pujols has got the beard.
He's got the
so
beard.
You switch
That's
it
right.
in.
That's
yeah,
right.
he's in a good place.
That's right.
There's nobody that can have that hair. Well, I don't know. Arenado's got a good facial hair situation going.
Do we got to go to break? Do we have... Is he at 8:05?
He's calling in at 8:05. Yeah.
8:05. All right,
Okay.
you want to go to break? Let me hit one more text here, by the way, 855-282-8255.
Did you see that picture I just sent you?
See, it's hard to do two things. Let me
Sorry,
look at
buddy.
that mug.
It's Bader's Instagram is.
He loves himself, doesn't he? He does. He hates me.
And by the way, real quick, I misspoke. So the Brewers,
That's nerdy.
the Brewers won't throw Corbin Burns against the Cardinals. So Woodruff is in there. But you're not facing Burns, but still, you're facing some studs for Milwaukee.
Steve chimes in and goes, hey, guys, Yachty was the first person to hug Albert after his home run, but I didn't see Yachty anywhere around when Kisner hit his home run.
I don't think Yachty's got too much jealousy for Andrew Kisner.
I know.
It's probably like his little kid.
Yeah, you could be reaching on that one, but I still like it. Keep them coming in.